Brooklyn Independent Television.
Getting cancer at any point in your life is tough to deal with, but even tougher when it happens years before the statistics say it's likely to occur. I'm too young for this is no doubt what comes to mind. And in fact, that's the name of an organization for people under 40 who have cancer. Healthbeat's Erica Robinson introduces us to a young woman who belongs to that group and who wants other young women to know how they can avoid becoming members.
Emily Rubin knows how to get the party started. The 33-year-old DJ says her passion for music started during childhood. She grew up in Brooklyn during the hip-hop era. Rubin now goes by DJ Juicy.
Before I ever thought I was going to become a professional DJ, it was like originally it started as Juicy Jew, and then it's sort of stuck, and then it evolved over time to become Juice E, which is kind of a throwback to old school hip hop.
Rubin is not just a DJ. She is also a cervical cancer survivor. Every year, approximately 13,000 women will get cervical cancer. 4,000 are estimated to die from the disease.
Randy Crawford.
But the majority of women diagnosed with cervical cancer are in their 40s. Rubin was only in her 20s. At 23, she was diagnosed with the human papillomavirus, most commonly known as HPV.
I went for a regular pap screening, and I came back with HPV, and I completely freaked out because at that time nobody was talking about HPV.
Dr. Mary Fatehi, a gynecologist at the Long Island College Hospital, has been practicing for 13 years. She says that being diagnosed with HPV is like getting a cold.
It's just like having colds every single winter. That's a respiratory virus. You can't avoid getting colds because there are too many strains of the respiratory virus. But as soon as you make enough antibodies to clear that cold, then you're immune to that particular virus until another strain, you're exposed to another strain, and then you have a new cold. Okay, same thing with the human papillomavirus. Once you make antibodies, you're immune to that particular strain, but you can be exposed to another strain.
Dr. Fatehi says vaccination is key in preventing the development of cervical cancer. She recommends all young women to get the HPV vaccine.
There now is available a vaccine. It doesn't protect you from every single virus of HPV. There are over 100 strains of the virus. Some of them cause warts, but most of them don't. So most of us have no idea we've ever been exposed to the virus. The vaccine only protects against 4 of those strains. There's 2 that are associated with 80% of cervical cancers and 2 that are associated with 80% of warts. So that's not 100%. So the vaccine won't prevent every single cervical cancer.
When Rubin developed HPV, there was no vaccine. She continued to get her regular checkups to monitor the disease, but abnormalities continued to show up in all of her exams. But she was told she was too young for cervical cancer. 3 years later, she was positive for the disease.
I was terrified. It didn't seem real. I couldn't believe that it happened to me. I've been healthy my entire life. I'm a fairly healthy person. I was in decent physical shape other than that. It was a shock.
After 2 comb biopsies to remove part of her cervix, she was told she was cancer-free. 4 months later, she found out that the cancer was still there.
For about 4 months, I was really happy because I thought I was cancer-free, and I went in for a follow-up visit with another doctor, and as soon as I walked into the hospital, the first thing she said to me was, "I was looking over your pathology, and I think you still have cancer." So the world kind of came crashing down on me at that point, and I really kind of lost it.
Rubin had 6 months of radiation and 4 months of chemotherapy at the Brookdale Hospital. It was a tough time for her, but she did not let it interfere with her DJ career. Tony Cortez, a bartender at the Vodou bar, says he has watched Rubin grow as a DJ throughout her illness. In fact, he says she DJs better than ever.
Yeah, I definitely think she put her heart into her spinning, and I could tell by, how good she's gotten. And I think a lot of ways when you overcome something like that, it actually makes you better at what you're doing, especially if you stick with it.
RUBIN is now active in several nonprofit organizations. Tamika and Friends raises awareness about cervical cancer. Women open up about their stories to help encourage others battling the sickness. And I'm Too Young for This supports young people who have or had cancer.
I think there's a couple of important messages that we're trying to get out. One is to let the world know that we're here, and if there's any other young people going through any kind of cancer, that there's a whole community and support network that's here for you. Even if you don't have family and friends, we're here for you.
Now RUBIN is cancer-free and back into her DJ groove. The one thing she said that pulled her through the darkest time in her life. For Healthbeat Brooklyn, this is Erica Robinson.
Watch this and other Brooklyn Independent Television episodes online at bricartsmedia.org/BIT.